"Ed," I said. "Got a minute?" His eyes widened. He was obviously headed to the dumpster. I nodded my head towards the rear. "We can talk out back." The noisy kitchen was no place for this conversation. Ed Hertel is short. He's 5'5" but stout. By anyone's standards, Hertel is an odd guy. His right eye tracks at what he's looking at, while the left eye wanders. Sometimes the wandering eye looked at you, but often it was parked off and staring into the distance. It was challenging to tell if he was looking at you or away. His beard was thick and nearly black. Perhaps the thickest beard I'd ever seen. He was wearing blue jeans and a red, black, and plaid wool shirt. Something you might think a logger would wear, not a dishwasher. I think I'd seen him in that shirt more often than not. His fingernails had black lines of dirt under the edges. He had a folding buck knife on his belt in a special sheath. Game Warden Russ Kozak had warned me about it in the past and had said that Hertel was famous for showing off how fast he could pull it out. When he gave it a yank, the blade snapped open. The first time I spoke to Hertel, he had a heavy stutter. The second time, it was almost gone. Tonight, it was back to a full tapping stammer. I think that's why Hill was upset. He thought we were profiling. He thought we were picking on a guy who had been picked on most of his life. Maybe he was right. When we got to the rear deck, Hertel threw the garbage bag in the metal dumpster with a crash and turned around. The air was cold. The moon hadn't crested above the canyon. I could see 2 headlamps worn by searchers bobbing somewhere towards the river, but everything beyond the porch was black. Hertel was breathing hard and stressed. He kept opening and closing his hands. "Ed," I said, "we're looking for some help finding Nancy." I brought my hands up with my elbows in and turned my palms toward him in an effort to relax him. "Sam said you were at the inn last night. How'd she seem?" There was a long pause. Hertel looked away and said, "Didn't do nothing to her." His stutter sounded like a marble bouncing on concrete. He turned to me and his right eye drilled into my face. "This is like that kidnapping thing that queer shit-licking framed me on." His denial about not hurting her set me back, and the kidnapping comment also caused me to pause. I knew nothing about his past other than the Nowaks, and he had moved from Colorado in the spring. But what really caught my focus was that Hertel had instantly turned defensive. It was as if I had accused him of a crime, and I had not.